Hello, this is going to be my third video. And I'm really sorry about how this had to go. I've been waiting too long to go be with my husband, Jeremy, and he's not the only reason I'm going. I'm going to help people, to preach the gospel to people and show them how to get through death whenever you unexpectedly go. And even if you didn't unexpectedly go, people commit suicide and they don't know where they're going. People commit suicide, they think they're going just to like they're not going to exist anymore, is I guess what they think. But really, they just end up being here in the same world, not being able to touch anything, not being able to eat, and you no longer need sleep because you're not in your body, so you don't get rest, you don't need it. But people are used to sleeping, that hurts, so they get really, then it just gets even worse. I've got to teach people to deal with these things, and people are dying from the virus, and there's so much murder going on, and there's suicide, murders, and all that. I've got to go talk to these people, and I have a job to do, and I know you love me, but I've got something I got to go do, and I've been waiting a long time to do it. Aaron, please know that. Please, Satan's gonna send you. I talk about it all the time, but listen, it's true. I wouldn't talk about it this much if it didn't matter. Okay, um, Satan is manipulating every single human being's mind on this planet 24/7. Every human. There's legions of them. That's more than there could be of any human being. So when you have that, and it's 24/7, it's pressure. You'll feel tension all day. You know when you feel anxiety and it just feels like tension and tension? Have you ever had it get really bad? I'm sure after I pass, and I'm really sorry, my passing is going to cause a lot of that. Satan's going to sit on top of you and not literally, but he's going to be poking you like this, trying to get you to have anxiety, make you think bad thoughts about me passing, make you think just really bad things and get you so upset. And please, you got to fight it. Every time you feel that, pray to God, say, I see it. I see what Satan's doing. Please help me to be strong and stand up to him. And my mom taught me about this. Please don't go unbelieving, because it's real. I'm dedicating my entire life to teaching people this. And I can't do my work in this life that I'm going to do. Okay, I'm not saying God wants people to commit suicide or anything like that to help him. That's not what I'm saying. I've had somebody very close to me pass, and I can see people in the afterlife. I see them. So constantly I'm hearing about people's pain and how they're having too hard of a time. And I wanted to be a counselor here, but it's going to be hard for me because I have a drug charge and all this other stuff. Plus, I hear things in the spiritual realm, so I have constantly a war going on in my head, and that's kind of hard to go to college and hold down a job and everything else with that war going on in my head. It's one day at work, and all I do at my job now is put napkins in a steamroller. One day at work is too much. I can't imagine trying any harder than I am now, and I'm not going to. I've been doing that too long, and I'm going somewhere else. You will heal from this, I promise. And I don't know what you feel when you look at me and hear me talking right now, but trust me, if I felt what you felt right now, I could give you the answer. I could make it better, I promise. But I'm going to try to do that without knowing what you're going to feel. So listen, Aaron, I'm going to tell you, please let Aaron watch this. I'm not going to say anything bad. I know all the time, every time I'm talking to Aaron, I've got to put it on speakerphone because I'm afraid I'm going to say something crazy. Stuff like that, please don't do that, all right? I'm not crazy. Please let me talk to my kid. Please let me say something to him. This is the last time I'm going to talk to him. Please let me do this. Don't hide this from him. It's my last videos, please. All right, Aaron, whenever, and I love you. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm sorry, but it's just how it is. It's how I feel all the time. When you grow up, listen, you were born in the middle of a physical war. You know all the wars going on right now, people fighting? That is being caused by a gigantic spiritual war. The wars we see here, and the fighting, and the murder, and all that, that is being caused by a spiritual war. I want you to imagine, whenever bad things happen, imagine every single person, all the time, there's demons, at least 8 of them, standing around each human being all day long, and they attach themselves to people, and they pick on them all day long. They'll send you thoughts, bad thoughts. They'll even do things like send you a bad idea and then tie a bow on it, which means they'll try to make it feel good. So you'll think about maybe having a beer, which is a bad thought, but then they'll tie a bow on it and put a good feeling on it. So you're like, oh, it's a bad thing, but it sounds pretty good right now, so let me go have one. Things like that, okay? So whenever you watch these things unfold in this world, no matter what it is, it could even be suicides or murders, bombings, things like that. Wars, you'll watch Satan's plans unfold, and it's 24/7, and there's so much going on, and God's getting tired of it. And he's coming back to save us. And he's here right now, but he's not coming back to save us. He's coming to take us home. He's here saving us right now, but he's taking us home shortly. And we've got to be ready, because if we're not ready, if people don't pick him, and God's doing everything except for messing with their free will. Each person has free will on this planet. That means they get to do what they want to do 24/7, anything they want to do. And we don't see that because we're blind to it, because we do it all the time. Things like making a drink, walking down the stairs, walking back up, and you can turn around and walk up a pair of stairs 20 times if you want to. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you could if you're exercising. You can smoke a cigarette. You can go take a walk. You can talk to somebody. You can ignore somebody. You can ask somebody out on a date. You could break up with somebody, then ask them out again. You can do all these things. I know that sounds like small things, but it's not. It's not small things. That's free will. That's a gift of life. You get to do anything you want to do. If you had never got to do anything you wanted to do in your entire life, and you were just kind of just stuck to a chair and couldn't do much, and then all of a sudden you get to live life freely, you would see, wow, no, this is amazing. I can do anything I want to. So we have a world where people can do anything they want, and then, but in the same world, because we're a fallen world, there are so many workers that are working for Satan, because they didn't want to agree with God, and they said, we're going against you completely because we don't like the way you try to tell us what to do. We want to do, what we want to do, and we're not bowing down to you because, just that's how they felt. So God, that was their choice to go against God, so God let it happen. But in the beginning, in the Bible, Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden. You know the story, and here, let me read it. Not the whole story, but you know the story, but I'm going to read the part, what God says to, after Eve got deceived, God said to Adam, don't eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, or you will certainly die. Then he told his wife Eve that. Then Eve, knowing that, was walking through the garden, and the serpent, Satan, told her, you won't certainly die. Your eyes will be opened, and you'll be like God. It'll be wonderful. She did that, and then she got Adam to eat too, her husband. And at that point, it doesn't say in the Bible whenever God gets his heart broke, but he does. And then his heart was so broken, he told them to do one thing, and that's exactly what they did. And it only took a little bit of pushing, not much. It took one sentence to get them to go against what he told them not to do. One sentence. How mad do you think he was? That's the one thing I told you to do. Even after that, he had mercy, and he just sent them on their way. That's all he did. But he was so heartbroken over it. Oh, that's not all he did. Never mind, because here, let me find it. He said, because of this, hold on. Okay. Now, after this had all happened, then the Lord God said to the snake, you will be punished for this. You alone of all the animals must bear this curse. From now on you will crawl on your belly, and you will have to eat dust as long as you live. I will make you and the woman hate each other. Her offspring and yours will always be enemies. Her offspring will crush your head, and you will bite her offspring's heel. Do you know what that means? That means that God's giving us the authority to crush Satan's head, which is trample on snakes and scorpions alike, which is snakes are demons and all that stuff. That's what they are, snakes. And they will get you to feel so insecure about yourself and hate yourself and make you cheat on, or cause you to want to cheat on your partner. They'll cause you to ruin a perfectly good marriage whenever there's nothing wrong with it. Just because somebody offered their self to you or somebody flirted with you in a little bit, and that day just happened to be that day your wife wasn't paying that good attention to you, and then you said, why not? Sure. And then she found out, and you ruined what could have been a great, like, that was your best friend, your soulmate, and you ruined it because of that. All these things Satan is causing, and we don't have to go along with what he's given us. We don't have to do that. It's our choice. We have free will. But too many people are going along with those thoughts that are going in their head. And they need to start standing up for themselves. That's what I wanted to teach you, Aaron. I wanted to teach you all that, but all these things kept happening, and because I was bad in the past, I couldn't be in your life. Nobody trusts me, and nobody trusts me to be around you, and I'm just crazy Kim. I've always been crazy Kim. That is not me. And I'm going somewhere else where I don't have to be that anymore. I don't have to be a crazy person. I'm going to go be somebody who can teach people and is trusted. All these things you'll see me again one day and you'll be so proud of me. But Aaron, I've got to go help people, okay? But listen to this. So, her offspring will crush your head. We're going to crush his head. We are Eve's offspring because her and Adam were the first creation. And you will bite her offspring's heel. What does it mean when the snake's going to bite our heel? He's going to bug us all day. He's going to send us thoughts all day. So even though he's going to strike our heel, cause wars and fights and famines and murders and all these evil things, people doing drugs, all this stuff, and even one of the strikes that he gives is unbelief. And he'll do all this work on people, and then he can bite their heel and make them, not literally, he doesn't literally do that. It's an arrow. It's a thought he sends to your head. And so he's sending all these things, and then he sends unbelief. After Satan has done 24 hours of work on you, of sending you thoughts constantly, insecurities about yourself, making you think, you know how he makes you think you've got bad teeth, and you can't even, that's directly from him. He makes you think about it during the day. He probably makes you think about things about Amber's death. Makes you think about how you're angry at your dad sometimes. Things like that. He'll just run through your mind constantly. And at the end of the day, if you don't believe it, those demons are high-fiving each other. They're like, yes, he doesn't believe that we're even doing this, yet we're doing it to him all day. If you start paying attention to your thoughts and what you're thinking and the patterns and how you feel, pay attention to how you feel after you get those thoughts. You will what's it called? Hit the nail on the head when you see him doing it. You'll be like, oh, that's what he's doing. Please believe me, okay? This is what's happening. And so what am I saying? What was I saying? So we have a lot of people who are going through this. And look at the world now. I mean, it's clearly displaying all these things. We can't fight it unless we know exactly where it's coming from. We can't fight something that's going on unless we know exactly what's going on. We're gonna think that it's here's another one. Whenever you think you're going somewhere and you think people hate you or don't like you, and you walk into a classroom, let's say there's one person you've been arguing with in that classroom, okay? And you walk in and all of a sudden you feel this tension, right? Between you and that person. That's Satan putting that tension there, because you can't possibly feel what's in that person's mind. You can't. You can't possibly do that. You're not a mind reader. They might not even notice you walked in, and they're not even thinking about you. So how are you picking up all those vibes? He does that to people constantly. If he sees that you're going in somewhere, he'll send you a thought. Ooh, as soon as you walk in, he's going to be joking about you and laughing at you, and you're going to walk in and watch. Here's what Satan's doing in his mind to the friend you were arguing with. He's writing on his paper, and he's making it think, you can't draw good. That's a horrible picture. You'll never be good at drawing. And he's just sitting there thinking about that. Then you walk in, and then Satan's sending you thoughts saying, he's over there thinking about, what he's going to do to embarrass you in class later, something like that. He's just constantly sending different thoughts pertaining to what's going on, so it unfolds for his benefit. Nobody believes this. And at the end of the day, whenever tells you don't believe it, he's won the day over. Don't not believe it. This is happening. We're very precious people. We're a very precious creation, and Satan hates us just for being something God created. He's going to hell though. Hell is such a bad place that there's nobody tough enough to handle it. As soon as you're in there, 30 milliseconds, it feels like 30 trillion years, and you have to get out then. But that's the end. There's no getting out. I know that you said you're not a really strong Christian, but I also know that the only church, you don't have to just, God's not only in church. And make sure that, I know that you're focused on your life right now because you're young and you're just getting new to things, but please don't forget that He is the only way to get through this life, Aaron. He is the only way to get through things like you feeling insecure, you feeling sad, depressed. Satan will send all these lies into your head about false ways to get through the hard things you're going through. And people take years to go through every wrong thing that's not going to comfort them. Years. And then finally, one day, they'll grab for God. And then once you have your eyes on God, don't think that Satan's going to stop chasing after you, because then he wants you even more because you love God. We're fighting here. This is a war. This is a intense spiritual war that, Aaron, it's taking people's lives. It's killing daily. The virus, that's what it came from. The starvation in this world, the poverty. I wrote it all down. All the things I could think of. Here's all the things that just in a few minutes I could think of before I recorded this that I want you to know that Satan's causing. Okay? Here, listen to this. All your life, you will watch Satan's battle plans unfold in front of you. Some examples: kids bullying each other, people drinking, using drugs, people with anger issues, screaming and fighting. How many fights have you seen between couples, between friends, people who aren't friends, anybody? Wars people fight, going over to Iraq and stuff like that, blowing people up. They have to kill kids when they're over there. Did you know that? How could that not be something that's from demons, okay? Having to get the bad guys, but there just happens to be a kid around. Oh, well, we got to get him. So if there's a kid around him, that's too bad, sorry. We've got to do it. This world is fallen, Aaron. It's evil, but God will teach us the way to rise above all that. He can make you feel like you have such peace in this world, no matter what's going on. That's why God's not somebody trying to take life away from you and make you live a boring life. That's not what He's doing. He's trying to teach you. Here, I told somebody about this the other day. So, when you're living a life that's not close to God and you're sinning and not being close to Him and all this stuff, what it looks like is a big chocolate cake that looks really good, okay? So, if God was telling you back up from that cake, you're not getting any more of it. It's bad. You wouldn't believe Him, right? You'd be like, no, like, I hate you. You're trying to make me quit drinking and using drugs, and you're trying to quit making me have sex with every woman I meet that offers it to me. No, I want to do it. But then God wouldn't pull you away from something that looked good. What He's going to do is He's going to say, okay, fine, you don't want to stop doing it. Here's a knife. He holds your hands while He holds the knife, and He cuts it open. And guess what falls out? Maggots and feces and stuff like that, okay? And oh my goodness, you were just licking the icing off the top, eating away. That's what sin is. That's what a life that's not close to God is. Satan will make it look like it's so good and so exciting. No, it's not. It's filthy. It's all it is filth. Once you get close to God, He'll show you how to really live life and have fun. You know why? Because the life that Satan tries to show you that you're having fun in, he will make you feel insecure the whole time. God will show you to recognize the insecurities and doubts when they're coming into your mind. What if you go on a date with a girl? You go on a date with a girl, and if you didn't have God on your side, you wouldn't notice all these insecurities that Satan's saying. Oh, she doesn't like me. She wants me to get my hand off her. She thinks my teeth look funny. She thinks she's noticing this big zit right here. Okay? No, she's not. And then he's sitting there putting the same thoughts into her head that he's got another girl he's seeing, and he doesn't think you look pretty tonight, and he thinks you're fat, and you got something stuck in your teeth. All these things, He is bugging people constantly and we can't see it. God will take your hand and say, hey, this is what's going on. Let's make this a good date to where it's actually fun. Let's let's actually notice the enemy who's putting bad things in our head. And then you know what you can do? You can tell her the same thing. And then you can actually have a fun date. Well, she'll ignore all those things going through her head, and so will you. And you actually have a good time. Satan's going to lie to you and make you think that God's going to take all the excitement away from you. And oh my goodness, let me tell you, listen, there are so many people who don't know how to treat each other when it comes to Christianity. Christianity, the Bible teaches us, love your neighbor, do not judge anybody, get rid of the hatred. There's a lot of people who are judgmental no matter who they follow, okay? But God, the one and only God, is teaching us to love unconditionally and forgive, because guess what? That helps you to get rid of the tension in your heart. All that anger and judgment that you carry, it doesn't hurt other people as much as it hurts you. That gives you a heavy heart. You might as well have maggots in your heart if you're going around angry all day and hateful all day. And you know those people who are bullies, who are hating on people constantly, you know when they go home they don't have anybody else to bully, guess what? Guess who they're bullying? Themselves. They're hating on themselves. Life is miserable when you don't notice the enemy is picking on you constantly. And I'm sorry I couldn't be around to teach you this. I'm sorry, but I want you to be strong, okay? I want you to be strong for me. I want you to open your eyes and ears and realize that, you know, I'm sorry that you're born in this world where there's evil things, but guess what? God will protect you from those things, but you've got to call on him. And here's another thing. Satan will send you, I almost dropped it. Satan will send you thoughts about God being boring or judgmental or hateful or strict. He's not any of those things, okay? He's very loving and forgiving, and he's very exciting. God has showed me, I told you about all the aliens I was seeing. God showed me nonstop visions. I saw some last night. Because when I get bored, God will say, and I literally hear his voice, he goes, I'm going to show you. And I was thinking about all his different creatures and all the different eyes they have, and he showed me, I looked from the side of her face, and she had a huge black eyeball, all black, just black as night, and long eyelashes, and I was like, wow, like that looks, he's like, yeah, that's my child, that's her. And then he'll take me somewhere else. I'm trying to remember, he shows me so many things. One night he showed me this thing, and it was like it was lightning. Somebody had harnessed lightning is what it looks like. And there was a big ball, and there was purple lightning bolts shooting out of it, and it was so bright, and I was up close to it, and it was like somebody had harnessed something, but he didn't tell me what it was. I just saw it. He just shows me the most amazing things. And then I take a look at it, the people that follow him, there is no way God could be boring. God is the most exciting being there is. He is. Like Star Wars, all that stuff, the reason that people got the idea to make Star Wars is because the beings that God created. We couldn't make a story unless we had the life in front of us that God created. If we had to make a story ourselves, minus what God created, we would have absolutely nothing. Because guess what? We wouldn't even have a mind to do it. God gave us this thing right here that is amazing. All those lies about God and horrible things in this world, we gotta recognize what the enemy does, and that's what I want to teach you in these videos, okay? So whenever you grow up and you're watching Satan's battle plans unfold in front of you, you'll recognize it. And you'll think of me. Think of, well, God first. Think of God. But then think of me and say, this is what she was telling me about. You'll watch, I'm sorry to say it, but you'll watch it in your children. You'll watch it in your wife. You got to teach your family this stuff. You have to. Or your family's going to be miserable. Your wife will probably get depression or something like that. She'll have a really bad problem with depression. You'll know exactly where it's coming from, okay? You'll know exactly who's giving her depression. And guess what? That's all he has time for. Satan's going to hell, okay? It is written. That's the only place for him. And it's a special hell. It's going to be torment like never unheard of torment. And all the lies people are believing about God and how bad he is and hateful and boring, that's pushing God's people away from him. God's children, those are lies. Absolute lies. Lies. Let me keep reading about this. So what you have to do is get close to God and put in the work. I'm about to go put in work nonstop to save people from going to hell. That's where I'm going. That's why this is so important, Aaron. Because guess what? The end of the story for me and you is what? No matter what we go through in this life, no matter how bad we hurt or what happens, we will always end up in heaven. That's the end of our story. We're going to heaven. It's going to be so peaceful and beautiful there. I've seen heaven in my visions that I have. And it is a golden light. There's a warm golden light around 24/7. And it is so euphoric. You know what that means? It is overwhelmingly happy. You're not overwhelmed, though. You're just at peace with it. And there's never a bad thought or a sad thought. There's never death, any more crying. And that's hard for us to imagine. Do you know why? Because our mind has been touched by too many demons. Yours has. He has stood behind you your whole life and helped you to look at things way uglier than they are. And he will do that with my death. He'll stand behind you. When you hear that I passed, he'll make a bomb go off. Your mom's dead. You should have called her more. You should have talked to her more. All these horrible things, whatever he's going to make you think, just recognize it, okay? And each time, say for me, my mom's going to help people. Mom's going to help people who are lost souls who need God. And she's going to kick Satan in the teeth is what she's going to do. I want you to say that, okay? Every time he sends you a little bad thought, say that each and every time, okay? Say it every time. And trust me, you'll get through it